All right, today we're heading to the Himalayas. We are going to map out the ultimate traveler's guide to Himachal Pradesh. So whether you're dreaming of those busy, vibrant towns or maybe some peaceful, quiet valleys, we're going to help you plan the perfect mountain getaway. Let's figure out what kind of journey is right for you. And that is the big question, isn't it? Himachal is this amazing place of incredible contrasts. You've got the super popular tourist spots on one hand, and then these remote, untouched valleys on the other. Planning a trip there can feel a little overwhelming, but don't worry, we're going to break it all down for you, starting with the very first step. Okay, first things first, you gotta get there. Before you can breathe in that crisp mountain air, your adventure is pretty much guaranteed to start on the plains of northern India, at one of two major travel hubs. So yeah, Delhi and Chandigarh are the main gateways to Himachal. They've got the big airports, the train stations, all the bus terminals. Basically, they're the launching pads for almost every traveler who's heading north. Think of them as your base camp for the journey into the mountains. Now, if you want maximum comfort and a straight shot to the hills, a private cab is a fantastic option. And as you can see, the travel times are pretty manageable. From Chandigarh, you can get to Shimla in about 3.5 hours, and that'll start at around 1,500 rupees. The trip up to Manali, that's a bit longer, more like 6.5 hours. And if you're starting all the way from Delhi, you can expect the drive to Shimla to take just over 7 hours. But of course, cabs aren't your only choice. For a more budget-friendly option, those overnight Volvo buses from Delhi are super popular. I mean, you get to sleep through most of the journey and just wake up in the mountains. But for a truly one-of-a-kind experience, you have got to consider the Kalka-Shimla toy train. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Railway that winds through over 100 tunnels. Seriously, the journey itself becomes an unforgettable part of the adventure. All right, you've made it. So, what kind of trip do you actually want to have? This is where Himachal offers two totally different paths. Let's call them the Classic and the Explorer. So, let's start with the Classic tour. This is the route that really put Himachal on the map, and for very good reason. It's the perfect introduction if it's your first time visiting, because it covers the iconic spots like Shimla and Manali and gives you a fantastic taste of the region's charm. The Classic 6-day trip? That's kind of the sweet spot. You'll kick things off with a couple of days in Shimla, exploring its colonial history and taking a day trip out to Kufri. Then, the drive to Manali is an experience itself, with a beautiful stop in the Kullu Valley. After that, you'll spend 2 days in Manali, mixing local sightseeing with some thrilling adventure sports in Silong Valley, before you head home. It's a busy week for sure, but really well balanced. But hey, what if you're craving something different? For those of you who want a more rugged, off-the-beaten-path adventure, there's the Explorer's Path. And this is a journey deep into the absolutely breathtaking Kinnar Valley. This quote, it just perfectly captures the vibe of a place like Kalpa in Kinnar. It's all about slowing down. It is a world away from the busy tourist towns. Out here, the journey is on foot, and the main activity is just soaking in that profound silence of the high mountains. The Explorer's Path is just packed with these unforgettable moments. The journey starts on one of the most spectacular and frankly thrilling roads in the world. You'll get to see the sacred peak of Kinnar Kailash, taste these amazing crisp apples right from the orchards, and explore ancient villages like Nako, where life just moves to a whole different rhythm. So it really just comes down to what you're looking for. The Classic tour is easy to get to, it's full of energy, and has plenty of hotels and restaurants. The Explorer's Path, on the other hand, trades all that convenience for pure solitude and a really deep dive into a remote culture. There is no wrong choice here, just two very, very different kinds of adventure. But hey, whichever path you choose, Himachal is absolutely packed with incredible sights and thrilling things to do. So let's break down some of the absolute must-dos. On the Classic route, the highlights are, classic. Near Shimla, you've got to head to Kufri and Fagu for those jaw-dropping Himalayan views. In Manali, you can't miss the ancient, beautifully carved Hidimba Devi Temple or the soothing hot springs at Vashisht Temple. And for a shot of adrenaline, Silong Valley is, hands down, the adventure capital. And speaking of thrills, Himachal is an absolute playground. You can see here just how popular these activities are. Silong Valley is the hub for paragliding and, when the snow falls, skiing. And a little further down, the Bias River near Kullu offers some absolutely incredible whitewater rafting. Now, before we move on, I want to mention something important. A lot of travelers combine their Himachal trip with a visit to Amritsar in nearby Punjab. And if you do, there's a profoundly important historical site that you should be prepared for, Jallianwala Bagh. It's a somber experience, but it's a crucial piece of the region's story. On this day, a large, peaceful crowd had gathered. They were there to celebrate the Baisakhi festival and also to protest some new colonial laws. In response, British troops under the command of Brigadier General Reginald Dyer opened fire without any warning on the unarmed men, women, and children who were trapped inside this walled garden. The whole tragedy just unfolded so quickly. A ban on public gatherings was announced that morning, but it wasn't really communicated well, so many people didn't know. By late afternoon, a huge crowd had assembled. Then, at 5:30 p.m., Dyer arrived, he sealed the only major exit with his troops, and gave the order to shoot. The firing went on for about 10 minutes, and it only stopped when they were about to run out of ammunition. The true scale of this tragedy is still debated. The official British report counted 379 deaths, but investigations by Indian sources like the Indian National Congress estimated that the number killed was much closer to 1,000, with over 1,500 casualties in total. That huge gap, it just shows you the immense, heartbreaking human cost of that day. Visiting Jallianwala Bagh today is a deeply moving experience. You can still see the bullet holes that scar the walls. And you can see the well, now known as the Martyrs' Well, where so many people jumped to escape the gunfire, only to drown. It's a powerful and very solemn reminder of a pivotal and painful moment in India's history. Okay, let's shift gears now and get back to our Himachal planning. We need to tackle the final piece of the puzzle, your budget. What kind of cost should you really expect for a trip to the mountains? So let's talk numbers. A private cab can cost you anywhere from 1,500 to over 5,000 rupees, all depending on your route. Now, if you'd rather get a package deal, a 6-day classic tour is going to start at around 12,000 rupees per person, and that usually covers your transport, hotels, and some sightseeing. So you'll just need a budget for your food and any extra activities on top of that. So there you have it, a roadmap to planning your very own Himachali adventure. The choice is yours. Are you going to follow the celebrated classic route with its vibrant towns and famous sights, or are you going to venture onto the explorer's path and seek the peace and profound beauty of the state's most remote corners? Either way, the mountains are calling.